Welcome to the Morning Edition Extra. I'm Adelmi Ruiz coming to you from the digital desk this Tuesday morning and continuing our coverage on the storm that just recently passed. Here's meteorologist Aaron Morrison with the latest on our forecast. Aaron.
Thanks, Adelmi. We are watching a third storm that's going to begin to impact the state here over into your Tuesday evening and Wednesday. Now, this storm system not going to be as strong as what we did see with previous storms, but it will bring some gusty winds and rain to areas of southwest Alaska with some heavy rainfall today expected through the Aleutians. Some minor flooding will be possible for areas of southwest Alaska. Those water levels could be about 1 to 2 feet above the normal high tide line. That will be from today through early tomorrow. So as far as that area of low pressure, you can see it out towards areas of the western Aleutians. This will ride the chain out towards southwest Alaska and eventually into south central in the coming days. So be prepared for increasing rain and winds. You can see that upper level pattern, that jet stream flowing right into south central, and then you can see it builds into a ridge out over southeast. So we're going to see this area of low pressure ride right along that jet stream. So not going to build into the Bering Sea like we did see with the previous two storms, but we'll still see impacts across the state, but largely in the form of heavy rainfall and some gusty winds. The strongest winds will impact areas of the Aleutians, where we'll see winds gusting in excess of 50 to 60 miles per hour. We could see some locally higher wind gusts up to about 70 miles per hour. Now, as that storm system continues to build northeast along the chain, we are going to see those winds. They will weaken some, but still expecting winds of about 40 to 50 miles per hour out towards areas of southwest Alaska. As that builds eastward into the Gulf of Alaska, that wind field will begin to weaken as we welcome in our Wednesday evening on into Thursday, but we will see some gusty winds to be expected out towards portions of southeast. So we'll be watching for that. So rain expected across south central today, with areas of the eastern and interior holding on to some snow showers. As this system builds in here over the next couple of days, that will spread more rain across the state. If you live out towards Kipnook as well as Quigillingok, we are watching that potential again that we could see some water levels about 1 to 2 feet above the normal high tide line. That shouldn't cause any significant flooding, just some minor flooding concerns. This could allow for that drainage from those floodwaters to be a little bit slower to recede in some areas due to that rain moving in. So wetter weather taking hold as we close out this week. And again, you notice how this storm system building eastward and not taking that northern path like we did see with those previous two systems. So we are going to be watching that impacting the state over the next couple of days. As that moves eastward, it will tap into some cooler weather. So by week's end, many locations across the state will see those overnight lows sitting in the 20s and the 30s, while afternoon highs will be sitting in the lower 30s and some upper 30s and lower 40s as you head across the coastline. For today, 39 in Kotzebue, 43 in Fairbanks, 49 in Dillingham. We'll see some rain showers across south central with some late day sunshine looking possible. There is a high wind warning out towards the Skagway that goes into effect this afternoon into the overnight, where we could see winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour. So rain stays with us here across south central throughout the week. We'll see some dry time today, some sunshine building in. You can see by week's end, we're going to see those afternoon highs sitting in the upper 30s and lower 40s, also chasing our first official freeze of the season. Looks likely sometime Friday night on into Sunday morning, where we'll see those overnight lows dip down near or below freezing. If this occurs, it will be the second latest first freeze on record. Adelmi?
Thank you so much, Aaron. Now, a state united in response after Halong's destructive force swept across western Alaska. The full weight of Alaska's government and its federal partners is now in motion. Every resource is being deployed to protect lives and start the long road to recovery. The National Guard is coordinating more than 50 organizations. It's what they call the largest off-road response in more than 45 years. The governor says support is pouring in from FEMA, the Department of Homeland Security, and even the White House, all focused on one priority: saving lives and keeping people safe.
Yep. Our first move is to get people rescued. Second move is to get them to a safe shelter. If that safe shelter is in the community, the schools tend to function, as Commissioner Bishop said, as our lifeboats in the communities. If the community, school, or shelter, and we support the local incident command, that's our job. If the community, local school, or shelter is inadequate or unsustainable, then we move them to another place of shelter.
The small communities in western Alaska felt some of the worst parts of Halong. State crews are now working as fast as they can to assess damage across communities affected.
Doing a lot of assessments. We've got 10 teams that are either on the ground or on their way, and we'll take a look at all the infrastructure in these communities, bridges, airports, roadways, and we'll get that all assessed, reported, and then while we're there, we can also take pictures and write up assessments for other things that we see. So it'll be a comprehensive effort.
The Department of Transportation adds that only the Kipnuk Airport is closed permanently at this time. And with a student population that's 20% Indigenous, the University of Alaska Fairbanks celebrated Indigenous Peoples Day with events going into the evening. Events such as fry bread, taco fundraisers, and elders panels marked the various festivities of the day. During the elders panel, topics such as tradition, education, and language were discussed. Now, if you're ever scared passing a big rig, it's for a good reason. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration data shows more than 5,000 people are killed every year in crashes with large trucks, and the problem is getting worse. That's driving a 40% increase in fatalities in the last decade. Our national investigative team discovered a big blind spot in the regulations. Here's national investigative reporter Brendan Keefe with Unseen.
Pumping the brakes, turning the wheel, nothing works. What's pushing this car sideways? An 80,000-pound tractor trailer. Let's rewind to the beginning. The video and police reports show the truck driver started changing lanes and likely never saw the car until it was too late. It's happening across the nation.
A deadly fiery pileup.
Oh my.
Come on, let's get out! The car plowing into the side of the tractor trailer smashed in an instant, hubcap sent spinning.
A car collides with an 18-wheeler, bursting into flames.
In 1 out of every 3 big rig crashes, the truck driver never saw it coming because the car was in the blind spot. Driving next to a tractor trailer, you may not realize you could be completely hidden from the trucker's view in one of 4 major blind spots.
There's even a blind spot right in front of the rig, a blind spot big enough to conceal an entire SUV. To the driver behind the wheel of a big rig, this SUV might as well be invisible.
Even if there's 10 to 15 feet between the truck and the car, that car can disappear and the driver never see them.
Keith Copeland is Vice President of Safety for the Bennett family of trucking companies.
At Bennett, what we do, we require the fender mirrors and we're requiring the max view side mirror here to see the blind spot that's up in front.
Max View is a simple solution, a tiny mirror mounted on both sides of the cab behind the doors that ironically the driver can't actually see directly.
It's a mirror bouncing off another mirror. So as he looks here, he can see the view of everything in front of him. The driver, because of the door frame, may not be able to see me, but as he looks in the side mirror and the reflection of the max view mirror, he can see me clearly utilizing both mirrors.
Seeing is really believing, so we're putting you behind the wheel of a big rig to make the decision. Are we clear to change lanes on the right? Take a look again from the outside. That's a red Mustang in our blind spot. Now let's look again with all the mirrors. We can actually see the Mustang in the fender mirrors, in the overhead mirror, and in the max view mirror. None of those mirrors is required by the federal government.
The professional driver may not even know what's sitting there without all the mirrors.
So there are trucks out there that don't have all of these auxiliary mirrors.
That's correct. That's correct.
You guys go the extra step to add multiple mirrors. Other than those side mirrors, everything is optional.
That's right. The side mirrors are required by the Federal Motor Carrier Association or Administration. All the other mirrors that we use are options.
Many rigs have curved wide-angle mirrors on the hood or front fenders, but because those are not required by regulation, some trucks don't have them at all. And that means the driver of the truck inches from you and your family may not be able to see you.
Most crashes would tend to happen in this spot right here.
In this area right here.
The right side of a truck from the front wheel back is the most dangerous spot.
And so this car basically disappears in this area.
What should I do to make sure I'm not going to be in the blind spot of a truck?
Don't hang out next to the truck. So if you're on the right side or the driver's side, don't hang out there. Get in a position whether you move a lane over, move up front, move back so that you can see the driver in the mirrors and so the driver can see you.
If you can't see the driver in the mirrors, they can't see you, especially directly behind the trailer. For Bennett, the decision to require these extra mirrors on all 1,200 trucks in its fleet is paying off in saved lives and saved dollars.
We're seeing downward trends in events. We're seeing downward trends in accidents that we're involved in because of all this.
A problem that's easy to see, but for all drivers, a hidden danger.
Now, there have been proposals to add backup camera systems or even those blind spot detection systems like you have in your car to trucks to require those, but so far they're just proposals. Right now, the Federal Motor Carrier Administration requires only those 2 side mirrors with a wide-angle view. None of those fender mirrors, none of those hood mirrors, or that max view mirror we showed you, those are all optional today on Alaska highways.
Now, Brendan, you found that 1 in 3 truck crashes involves a blind spot. That's a staggering number. What's driving this problem?
I actually think the number is probably higher because if you think about it, the blind spot being the main cause is only going to be reported in those cases where it's the primary cause. But sometimes it's the failure to maintain lane is the citation, or the trucker failed to signal or something to that effect, but there was a car in the blind spot. And so it might be listed as the secondary cause or not listed at all. So I think it's probably even a higher number. And it's simply because those blind spots don't involve the even trucker attention or inattention. It might simply be the driver of the car's fault, but then the trucker can't see the car, and then that leads to the collision. Now, there have been proposals to add backup. Yeah, they're really out of date at this point, the regulations. And that's not an opinion, that's just basically the analysis, because they've been in place, these rules, for a very, very long time. And at one time, only 1 mirror was required, even on your passenger car, if you can believe it. And then a second mirror was later required. So technically, they have updated the regulations over the years, but they're certainly not up to date with the technology that's available today. All new cars in the United States have to have some sort of a backup camera system now, but trucks don't have that regulation. And of course, the trucking companies have a very strong lobby that prevents them from instituting new regulations. At this point, the regulations are out of date, and that means that not all trucks have these mirrors that could quite literally save lives.
Now, you got behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler for this story. What surprised you most about what truck drivers can and can't see?
Yeah, I was surprised at how little they can see, especially right next to the truck, because you have that sort of door right next to the trucker. And it's enough with the angle of view for an entire SUV to be hidden right next to the driver. I mean, like right there, because the mirror is not going to pick it up because it's looking farther back. And if they don't have those fender mirrors or the max view mirror, they're not going to see the car right there. Same thing right in front of the hood, because the front or the nose of the truck goes out, sort of in a straight line. Anything in front of that that's close to the truck, they're not going to be able to see. So it was surprising to me that the closer a vehicle is to the truck, the harder it is for them to see. One simple solution that truck drivers are taught, especially by safety officers like the one we featured from Bennett Trucking, is to increase the height of their seat. And by increasing the height of the seat, they increase that angle so that they can actually see vehicles right next to them. Yeah, they're really out. Yeah, this is a great question, and it's a good piece of advice to either expedite that pass. So if you're passing the truck, particularly on the right, because that's the most dangerous spot, it goes out about 3 lanes to the right. So if you're on a 4-lane highway and that truck's in the left lane, they might actually not be able to see you already 3 lanes over, depending on where you are on that right side. So what you want to do is expedite that pass if you have to pass them. Obviously, it's always safer to pass on the left. Many states require you pass on the left. But you're going to want to expedite that pass. If you're going to exceed the speed limit to do that, the safest thing to do is slow down. Let the truck get ahead of you. And make sure they can see you if you're going to be doing that pass. And watch those mirrors. Don't be distracted by them, but watch the trucker's mirrors. And if the trucker can see you and you can see them looking down occasionally back to see you, then it's probably safe to pass. But expedite that pass, make it quicker, because that's going to lower your exposure time to those blind spots.
Okay, and my final question, are the truck drivers usually at fault in these crashes, or is it the other way around?
Adelmi, it's actually one of the most amazing things is that it's usually the car's fault. You would think, we think big bad truck, right? 80,000-pound truck, we're all scared to drive next to them. These are professional drivers. The rest of us are amateurs. So these people drive for a living, and they're actually, by and large, really good at it. And they know about staying to right except to pass and allowing enough following distance and sort of these rules of the road that a lot of us have forgotten if we were taught them at all. And a lot of times, and actually statistically, it is the car's fault. But again, you can't really blame the trucker for not seeing you in the blind spot because they're not required to have those mirrors. That's why we're holding the powerful accountable and saying the federal government very likely needs to update its regulations.
All right, Brendan, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Switching gears to some lighter news now. An ice rink is actually coming to downtown Fairbanks this winter, and it'll be free for the public to use. The frame is already up at the lot on 1st Avenue and Lacey Street, the same spot where the tallest building in Fairbanks once stood. As the city decides what's next for that location, organizers hope the new rink will draw people downtown to gather and have fun. The rink will be family friendly and open access, unguarded but available for events and reservations. Skaters will need to bring their own gear. Ice won't be added until temperatures drop much lower.
It'll be a slow process of sprinkling the ground and getting our first frost layer, and then we will start filling it slowly with several hundred gallons at a time, letting it freeze and then grooming it, and then that's with like a warm water or a melting process with propane torches.
He is well known on social media, especially on TikTok, as Patriotic Kenny. He had the chance to finally visit Alaska 1 month ago. He did everything from dog sledding to making traditional Yupik delicacies, riding a helicopter over a glacier, horseback riding, and more. Kenny says he had such a great time, he can't choose a favorite moment.
Every moment I had up there was a moment that I'll never forget. I mean, I can't just pick one. I got to say every single thing I did up there.
Kenny is the face of an organization called Patriotic Kenny, which aims to provide veterans with assistance, including acquiring scooters. Kenny says it helps vets not be or feel so isolated.
There's so many out there that I'm sure have tried like me and can't get one. It's the worst thing for a veteran to be isolated in the house. That's not good.
Kenny says this was a trip of a lifetime, and if he gets the chance to, he is definitely coming back to the last frontier. And that wraps up the Morning Edition Extra for this Tuesday morning. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. Have a wonderful day.